The days leading up to the Agati Bludgeon were the best and worst times for Eragon. Book 2, Eldest, Chapter 48, The Gift of Dragons, and Chapter 49, In a Starry Glade. Welcome to Eragon and Back Again, a podcast where we explore Christopher Pauline's inheritance cycle chapter by chapter. I'm Darien Smartt.
And I'm Lucy Hart.
And this chapter is also the best and worst times for us,
Yes.
the hosts of Eragon and Back Again.
Yep.
But before we get into all of that, Luce,
Yes.
do you have a spark of inspiration?
Claire got me the game, The Legend of Zelda Imprisoning War. Which is, it's like a, I don't know if anyone knows like what the Hyrule Warriors situation is. It's like a beat 'em up kind of video game where you like just fight a bunch of hordes. And the Hyrule Warriors, the first one wasn't a really big hit. The second one kind of was. It's like a weird time travel-y stuff, but there is time travel in Legend of Zelda, so it's not like too far off.
Yeah, like famously.
Yeah,
like
famously. Like Ocarina of Time and
time
Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's not like too far out. But then in this one, it's really cool because Tears of the Kingdom, you get snippets of what Zelda's up to. And in the Imprisoning War, you specifically play as Zelda in the past with all of these things. So it's a really interesting, like, different side, like a perspective shift. Because usually you're Link, with Link and doing all the things with Link. But this is like you are actively Zelda and playing a part in which she is like the biggest role in this show. So it's, for me, it's an inspiration of shifting perspectives. Because in my book, I haven't like shifted perspectives. I know a lot of them do recently. But I'm like, it's an encouragement of maybe not like keeping like my main character, but also helping me be like, think about the other characters like in their own world, even if I'm not like their perspective currently, if that makes sense. So like just the inspiration of being like, oh, this is so cool that they are able to do this from Zelda's perspective in the past with all these characters that we only get like brief glimpses of in Tears of the Kingdom, where it's like thinking about like just like landing, like just like sinking into that like shifting of perspectives and doing that. It's really cool. So that's like just really sinking into what other characters are thinking, even if you're not with them, if that makes sense.
No, for sure. We talked about like writing dual POVs a lot, or multiple POVs a lot, because that's something that this book does. It's something like I do in my draft. But I love the perspective reminder of like, even if you are only in one character's head, it is good to think about the way other characters are perceiving the situation, even if the reader isn't going to experience that. Like that makes just fully fleshed out characters,
because it's like the world exists beyond your character and the characters they're immediately interacting with. You have to think about like, it's like in Legend of Zelda, and in Legend of Zelda specifically Tears of the Kingdom and like Breath of the Wild, like you can go to a village and there's a villager just sweeping, and then you walk away and they're still sweeping over there, like that's what they're doing.
Their own life.
Yep, exactly.
Nice.
So yeah.
Last time I said I was going to tell you all about the Pandora reimagining. I actually want to share a geode instead.
Yeah,
and
there
I
you
will
go.
ttle you about the Pandora one at a future one. But also you can definitely look up B. Fitzgerald.
There you go.
And see what it's about. But I made it's a silly little geode. It's not like I did a craft.
Yay!
It's not like it's not there or anything. But my cats have a box they like to climb into.
Yes.
Like it's a big box. It's one of like those food delivery things.
Yeah.
And I like taped it shut, but I cut a hole in the front of it, so it's like a little like hutch, and they can go in and out. And I thought it'd be cute to like paint it.
Yeah.
So I went to Michael's and I bought paint and glitter paint and little letter stencils, and I painted it purple and all black on the inside, and I put, instead of just towels, I put the towels that they like to sit in a pillowcase so it looks nicer.
Yeah.
Then I made it purple and sparkly, and it is it's supposed to be the pocket spa from the Adventure Zone.
I love it so much. It's so good. So good.
It's funny. It's so silly.
Yep.
But it's just I did a craft. I haven't done a craft
really
in a hot second. Thank you. I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Good. Yep.
I
buy the pocket spa and dip.
The cat that is named Taco, who's the character that actually has the pocket spa in the podcast, does not care for this thing. I think he's maybe tried to climb into it one time.
Yeah.
Though the other day he was walking by and Dalton and I were having a conversation, and then we both saw him stop and look at it. We both froze and stopped talking, like not wanting to disturb him in case he just walked. He kept walking.
He just kept walking. He knew you guys stopped talking, and that was his like,
oh no, weird.
Nope.
But Ida Cat, she does love to lounge in her pocket spa.
I love it so much.
And it's funny because it's like underneath the entertainment center in the living room. So when you're hanging on the couch, like watching TV or gaming, the cat is watching you.
Yep.
Because that's
which is what they like to do. They like to watch you. Yep.
Yeah. So, I made a little hideaway for the cats.
Good.
Thank you. And it looks way prettier in my living room than the branding of the meal delivery box.
Yep.
So, but yeah, just shout out to doing basic crafts.
Yeah,
I haven't done a little project in a while.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. It's very fulfilling. Absolutely.
Very satisfying just to physically paint and then add sparkles and then do the temp. And then I was just sitting there listening to an audiobook the whole time.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
Good. And then, of course, Ida's sitting there in a project that requires no cats.
Yep.
Obviously, Ida's there and she's just overviewing the renovations of her spa.
Yep.
So, shout out.
Yep.
Hey, anybody got any cats? Got any cat boxes? Send us pictures of your cats. Just for the record.
Yes. Do it.
All right. Shall we get into it?
Let's get into this.
The Gift of Dragons. The gang enjoys the Blood Moon celebration, indulging in the revelry and sharing their artistic creations. On the third day of the celebration, Eragon is given a gift from the dragons. In the Starry Glade.
Just all the way around.
Just okay, let's get into it.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Let's talk about the fun chapter.
Yes.
No, but hey, Elven Fae celebration?
So cool.
Let's go.
So good.
This is great.
I do like I can't remember how far in. How far in is that? This is like a third where Oramus is like, "Hey dude, you need to put wards around yourself in Auric because last time it wasn't good."
Yeah. We saw what happened last time, right? And Arya's like, I lost track of time. All right. I do not have an internal sense of time. So I didn't realize how close it was. And it's like, yeah, those other crew guys really should have, though. So that was crazy. So like Oramus being on the ball and being like, so here's some words you're going to need to put around you and your buddy because
bad news.
Being around like a Fae celebration is intense.
Is intense.
It's
yep.
intense for mortals. So, you
know. But before that too, really quick, I did want to say Arya's starting to hang out again. She's swinging by the treehouse and walking through Elismira with Eragon and Saphira more often now. But never alone.
No.
She's either with Auric or Maud the werecat.
Good. That's kind of what you gotta do.
Fair. She's keeping him at arm's length, which is you. She's like, okay, I'm putting my trust in you that you said you were going to do this, but I'm happy we
have a buffer.
Yeah, we have a buffer now.
Yeah,
it's fair.
Yeah, so it's she's like, yeah, I'm willing to like let you back in, but you don't get. We're gonna see.
Yep.
So like, fair, absolutely reasonable.
Fair.
Totally, yep. I think that's a totally reasonable way to like try to re-navigate that kind of relationship.
Yep. And then again, like here we get Eragon tells her all about his whole life.
Yeah.
And she doesn't. Occasional insights into her own life. Mm-hmm. So she's starting to open up. I think again this is an olive branch. I think she's trying. Yeah. I think she is being like, okay, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to share a little bit about myself like in good faith.
Mentions of her childhood, her friends and family, her experience with the Varden, which she spoke about most freely, describing raids and battles she participated in, treaties she helped negotiate, her disputes with the dwarves, and monumentous events she witnessed during her tenure as ambassador.
Yep.
And yeah. He's like, that's great. And so that's the one when Eragon thinks about like, this is the best in the world. Like, these are the best. Like, getting to spend time in Elismira, getting to hang out with Arya again, and getting to explore.
And he says that his relationship with Saphira, he and Saphira had never been so close. And I think, like, that's probably because of the moment they had in the last chapter.
Yeah.
Where
deep vulnerability, sharing, reaffirming what they mean to each other.
Absolutely. And then, like, also just the... Like, I treated you poorly and I'm so sorry for that. And Eragon's like, I acknowledge that, but I forgive you entirely.
I forgive you. I love you.
Yes,
we
I love
are
you.
Allowed
we're
to
good.
make mistakes and come back from them.
Yep. and then makes them stronger together.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think that's a very good reflection of like a healthy relationship.
Yes,
Relationships
absolutely.
aren't perfect.
Yes.
We're allowed to make mistakes and fall in error and take someone we love for granted, as long as we come to recognize that and then acknowledge that and make amends for that. Like, it's really beautiful. I love that.
Absolutely.
And then Ormus is also, it's like, hey, you should start working on whatever you're gonna bring.
Yeah.
It's like a week out.
Yeah.
And you should also avoid using magic. Unless it requires magic to function, you shouldn't use magic to make it, right?
Yeah. Because it needs to be like self-crafted. And I do like even like, sorry, I keep going back. There's like hundreds of elves showing up every day to do that. I think Eragon's seeing, I can't remember if it's that right now. He starts seeing like different types of elves. Throughout, like he sees that she-wolf that he talked about in a chapter previously, though I don't know if we brought her up. There's like an elf that turns into a she-wolf, and then there's like 2 elves that like come from the sea or something.
Those show up later.
They show up later. Okay.
The she-wolf elf is mentioned here earlier.
Okay, yeah.
Except he mentions her later on again, but when he's thinking about the animals that are showing up, is she not an elf? Is that a wolf? That was impacted by the elven magics?
I was thinking like a elven shapeshifter.
That's what I thought too. But like during the celebration, at one point in time, he's thinking about like all the animals. Like a lot of them are showing up. Some of them, because a lot of them are only like showing as like glowing eyes. They're not coming close enough to see. One animal that did expose itself was the she-wolf in the form of a white-robed woman that Eragon had encountered before. Yeah. That's not an elf. This is a wolf.
Maybe. Because he does see like in one of the previous chapter, he says he sees an elf that turns into a wolf. And now she reappears as a woman. So I'm not sure.
Because, I feel like if it was like, because in the next thing, not all the creatures were animals. Some few were elves who had altered their original form for functionality or the purpose of a different ideal of beauty. So I feel like if this entity was an elf, she would be mentioned here. Yeah. I don't think she's an elf.
Maybe, yeah. I like the idea of a wolf turning into a human. Yeah, and turning into an elf. Yeah, for sure.
Largely because of the magic that has like transformed them from being here. But yeah, so
So sorry. Going back to the you have a week to do your project.
Yeah, right. Okay. Saphira has an idea, but she's like, I want to make sure it'll work first. It's gonna be fire. Lots of fire.
I love that.
Cool. And Eragon's like, I don't know. We talked about in the last one. He's like, I'm a farmer. I don't know. What can I offer? Yeah. And Saphira's like, well, your identity, like who you are, your history, your deeds and situation. Use those to shape your creation, and you will produce something unique. Yep. Which is so great. He's like, I didn't know you knew so much about art. I don't. Remember that one day you went out to train with Gladier? I was there with Ormus, and that's what we talked about.
I love that Ormus discussed the topic quite a bit, and I'm like, I bet he did.
Yeah. What was he? He was watching him paint his scrolls while you were flying with Gladier, and that's just. It kind of sounds like Saphira didn't love that day.
No, she doesn't.
It was probably a time when she was jealous that Eragon gets to spend time with Gladier and she doesn't.
Yeah.
That was a whole bunch about that day she wasn't jazzed about.
No, yeah, probably. For sure.
That's so funny. Yep. But it's great advice because he thinks about Durza and he thinks about how he's going to have to fight Galbatorix, and he also thinks about the epics he's read from the elves and he loves them so much. And so then he writes an epic poem.
Yeah, he does.
And, what does it say and he just hits flow state.
Yeah, he does.
Oh man.
Hitting that flow state, so satisfying.
The words flowed from his pen seemingly of their own accord. He felt as if he were not inventing his tale, but merely acting as a conduit to transport it fully formed into the world. Having never composed a work of his own before, Eragon was gripped by the thrill of discovery that accompanies new ventures, especially since previously he had not suspected that he might enjoy being a bard. He labored in a frenzy, not stopping for bread or drink. His tunic sleeves rolled past his elbows to protect them from the ink flicked from his quill pen by the wild force of his writing. So intense was his concentration, he heard nothing but the beat of his poem, saw nothing but the empty paper, and thought of nothing but the phrases etched in lines of fire behind his eyes. An hour and a half later, he dropped the quill from his cramped hand and pushed the chair away from his desk and stood. 14 pages lay before him. It was the most Eragon had ever written at one time. 14 pages in 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's very good.
Damn, Eragon, that's flow state.
Yeah,
that's where you're just in it and you knock it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So proud of him.
So proud of him, absolutely.
And he, he recites it to Saphira, and she says, Eragon, you have changed much since we left Palancar Valley. You would not recognize the untested boy who first set out for our vengeance, I think. That Eragon would not have written a lay after the style of the elves. I look forward to seeing who you become in the next 50 or 100 years.
And he's like, if I live that long.
And Saphira's like, don't say shit like that.
Yeah, so don't fucking say shit.
We don't get her response, but she's probably like, don't fucking say shit like that.
Dude, don't, shut up.
Shut the fuck up. I don't like that. And he recites it to Oramus, and he's like, rough but true.
Yep.
'Tis a good poem of your mental state at the present, and an engaging read, but no masterpiece. Did you expect it to be? Like, yeah, no. However, I'm surprised that you can give it voice in this tongue. No barrier exists to writing fiction in the ancient language. The difficulty arises when one attempts to speak it, for that would require you to tell untruths, which the magic will not allow.
Yep.
And Eragon says, I can say it because I believe it's true.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, and we see it later. He hasn't like written his story beat for beat.
Yeah.
He has written like a text that is deeply inspired by his story.
Yes.
Like it's a metaphor for what he has dealt with and what he is going through.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, I can say this because it is true to me. Like what it is saying is true, even if these events didn't happen.
Yes.
I think that's fascinating.
Yes,
I
love that so much.
Yeah,
yep, absolutely. I mean, we talked about Avatar: Last Airbender just in the last episode, but it's like where Jet comes back and he says this, and it's like, oh, he's telling the truth because he thinks he's telling the truth.
Yes.
Whereas his two friends are also telling the truth. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I got Avatar on the mind now. So
yeah,
that's where my brain went.
Yeah, the idea of like this, but yeah, it's like it is true because it is Eragon's truth.
Yes.
Where he's not like saying events, he's not saying like, oh, this actually happened,
yeah.
but what this represents to me is like how I feel and what is going on.
It's very good.
It's really great. Yeah.
Because it's like he wrote that all in the ancient language. It was what we assume. And then he's going to say it in the ancient language.
Yeah.
Which so good.
So good. We show up to the Manoa tree for the night of the celebration.
Yep.
We run into the swordsmith, or not, she doesn't make swords anymore, so blacksmith.
Yep.
Ruanon, who talks to Auric in Dwarvish.
They have a
whole
I love
conversation.
her.
Yeah.
I love her so much. And Auric is thrilled, and he's so excited because he's like, oh, she invited me to her home. Invited me to her home to view her work and discuss metalworking. Eragon, she first learned her craft from Futhark himself, one of the legendary Grimsborth. I think Grimsborthen.
Yeah.
Borithin, I think. Of Durmsgreitz in Geetum. There we go. Butchered that. What I would have given to have met him.
See, okay,
and I love that.
Yeah, we met her. She's like a great elven craftswoman.
Yep.
Who learned her skill from a dwarf. Okay.
Yes.
That's cool.
Love that. And I'm
that
like,
feels better.
And it was like, for me, it's like I have issue with like, oh, they perfect the craft, and I'm like, this I will give because she can, because she lives longer.
Yes.
So she, and like, unlike if he had lived that long, he would also be, if not greater.
Yes.
Because he was older than her, assumedly.
Yeah.
Or I'm assuming that he was older when he took her under her wing, so to speak, to learn the craft. So, but she was able to work she had that base and was able to work from a dwarf. And I'm like, thank you.
And
I like that.
I think that's the part that has gotten like swept over too many times. Where it's like, it's not. We have criticized like, oh, this idea of like elves are the best.
Yes.
And I'm totally fine with elves having this high level of achievement and skill because of how long they live.
Yes.
And the time they're able to spend honing their skill and their crafts. Like that works for me because it makes sense of like as a statement to like, if you had all the time in the world, what would you do with it? And
absolutely.
Like elves don't have to like farm. And they don't have to worry about like fucking capitalism, right?
Yeah,
like,
they don't have to
have their needs met.
Been pointed out, they don't have to worry about hunting at all in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
They don't have to spend hours and hours or days out in the wilderness bringing home food.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about like preparing for the winter.
Yes.
To our knowledge, there's probably a winter season, but it's not dangerous and deadly.
Absolutely. They could probably erect there's probably some barriers or something to prevent.
You probably
the worst
get like
from
it's
coming.
fucking winter wonderland a little
there
bit of
you
snow.
go.
If they have it.
Yeah.
But so the idea is like if what would any culture do if they didn't have to worry about survival and could just live?
Yep.
Like, that's cool. I love that. What irks me is whenever we see elves and they're constantly being told no one else could ever do this.
Yeah.
Not because of time or care or love, but just because the elves are inherently better.
Yes.
Like an elf,
yes,
like
that's the issue.
Anytime it suggested an elf could just pick up a new skill and be better than a human and dwarf, period.
Yeah.
Like, that's the parts that annoy me.
Yeah.
The suggestion that an elven blacksmith would be better than a dwarven one merely because they are an elf, not because they've been doing it for 100 years longer. Yep. Right? And so this statement of she learned from a dwarf who was great. Yeah. She has been able to take what he taught her and perfect it because she had the time that he did not. Like, that is kick-ass. Yes. And that's cool. And that's interesting. And
agreed.
So I hope I hope we will see more of that.
Yeah.
The reflection that the elves and their skills do not come from just like a newborn elf just picking up just trying to learn how to do a craft. Like, yeah. But because other times we get like, oh yeah, elves, like when the meditation thing, oh yeah, humans are inherently not as good as it. An elf would just pick it up right away. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why would an elf just pick it up right away?
Yep.
Like, and that could be like, and it doesn't typically reflect like, oh, our culture tends to communicate this as a skill that are like young. It's just suggested that it's because elves are better.
Right.
Yes. And so,
and yes, that's where we have problems.
Yeah, that's where it's like I'm just tired of it. So I liked this a lot. I thought this was interesting.
Very good.
Yeah. And then the celebration starts, and it's so fun.
And I absolutely love the way Paulini describes it, where Eragon doesn't quite remember what goes on with it. And I don't know why, there's just something about that I really like, where he remembers like pieces of what happened. Like some moments are vivid, and then some he can't really quite tell, and then he's not even sure if he slept at all or if like the time changed, because it always just seems to be dusk, and just I just love it. Yeah, there's something in that I love.
Yeah, and I don't know if we've said what this celebration is for. It is they held it once a century, and it is to commemorate when the elves and the dragons made their bond.
Yes.
And so it's a big deal for Eragon.
That's why it's called the Blood Oath or whatever.
Yeah. And I also love the way Paulini has structured this section.
Yeah.
Where we get like descriptions, and then they each end off with an ellipsis. Of like dot, and then a paragraph, not just a regular paragraph, but kind of a break. And then it's like we're seeing it through Eragon, just kind of like the things he remembers from that night of like, now he's dancing with an elf maid.
Yep.
And then suddenly he's seeing like elves in the trees and singing and fireworks and stuff. And they were like, they strummed golden harps and called riddles to Gladier below.
Yep.
Then he remembered sitting in a dell propped against Saphira, watching that elf maid dance and sing. He remembered poems, and some mournful, some joyful, most both. Arya does hers, and Islanzardi's. Or Islanzari does hers. Arya doesn't recite her mom's. He remembers like other things the elves made, puzzles and toys and like flowers that bloom eternally, and Auric makes this like tiered wooden pyramid of like 58 interlocking pieces, and the elves are like blown away.
Yeah,
they love this.
They love it so much, and they call him Master Longbeard, and said clever fingers mean a clever mind. And I just like the Oramus, they're just like, oh, we love this guy.
Yeah, finally, Auric, they're like, oh, hey, wait.
Oh, wait,
like,
Auric.
Maybe dwarves are smart, actually. Like, huh. And they're like so excited to take it apart and put it back together. Yeah. And then at one point in time, Oramus has to pull him away, and he's like, you need to clear your mind. You need to sit over here in this corner.
Take deep breaths. Here's a cup of water.
Some orange slices. I'm going to have you just stroke the wall. Just hang out here. Stay here until you can list spells of changing great and minor, and then you may rejoin us.
Yeah.
Like, you need to center yourself. He's like, no, I'm fine. He's like, you're not.
You don't know. You have no idea.
Your buddies had a little too much to drink, and you're like, cool, here's some water, here's some bread. I need you to sober up a little bit, and then you can come back, and we're not done yet, but you need to, you're going to burn out.
I just love that you are in no position to judge yourself right now. It's like, nah, he isn't.
Yeah. This is the part where we see the animals, where we see the wolf, where we see like the elves.
Yeah, the like I kept thinking them as, what is it? Sirens? No.
Kinda.
Sirens. Is that what mermaids? Is it sirens?
Mythological sirens are birds.
Yeah,
so.
no.
But sirens are often depicted as being like
mermaid type. I think I'm thinking of like the mix between a siren and a mermaid. I think that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Where I just think that's really, really interesting, where they're like, oh, we've come far, and they have like gills and stuff, and then there's that one elf that looks like he I don't know if they gave where he has like scales like a dragon's, and he has like flames that flick in the pits of his nostrils, which is like, whoa.
And then like also elves that like don't look like they have a tangible form. Elves whose outlines wavered as if they've seen through water. Elves who, when motionless, were indistinguishable from the trees. Tall elves with eyes of black, even where the white should have been, who possessed an awful beauty that frightened Eragon, and when they chanced to touch something, passed through it like shadows.
So cool.
And then even the Manoa tree is like moving and waving, even though there's like no breeze.
Yes, is like the Manoa tree, which was once the elf Linnea. Very good.
But it's not all like fun and magic party. Like, he remembered 2 attacks from his back, screaming and groaning in the shadows, while the mad elves continued their revelry around him, and only Saphira came over to guard him.
Yep.
Because that's also like how swept up the elves are in their celebration. I don't even think they notice Eragon or recognize something's wrong.
Yes.
Like, I don't think it's like a dismissive, like they don't care. I think they don't see.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Then we get Eragon's whole poem. Well, not the whole poem. We get a chunk of it, and then Paolini like he describes this part
because it's 14 pages. We're not gonna get 14 pages,
and I
do appreciate
cards
that.
on the table. I bet he's written the whole thing.
Oh, I bet he's absolutely written the thing.
I wonder if he's posted it anywhere where you can read the whole thing. I would not be surprised.
Yep, no, absolutely. I do like really quick when he goes to chant it. He goes, in the manner that Brahm had performed lays in Carvajal, Eragon chanted.
So yeah, he's written it in the style. He wrote it in the style of the elves, but he reads it in the style of a human bard.
Yes, it's so good.
I really love that. And he talks about like to kill the foe in Durza in the land of shadows.
Yep.
Like, it's a metaphor.
Yes.
And I vibe with that. Another thing I like is how there's a woman he meets who, her brow adorned with Gaida's light, which shone upon her trailing ground, in her eyes of midnight blue, in the enigmatic pools, appeared to him a future bright, together where they would not have to fear the foe in Durza, in the land of shadows. I like that her eyes are midnight blue.
Yes.
They're Saphira scales.
Yes, it's Saphira.
She represents Saphira, not Arya.
Yep.
And I thought that was super important.
Yep. I was like, good. Applause.
It's good. And then the elves are, I think, really impressed. Like, I think they genuinely are into this poem.
Yeah, because he's embarrassed, but even everyone's like, you underestimate yourself, and even Islan Zardi's like, your work is going to be put in the Taldari Hall. For future individuals can enjoy it, and it's
and that's not just like, oh, we should do this because you're a writer and like to like show respect. She's like, though your poem is allegory, I believe it has helped many of us better understand the hardships you faced since Saphira's egg appeared to you, for which we are in no small way responsible. You must read it again to us, so we may think upon it further.
Yep.
And that's where I think like she's being sincere. She's like, no, other people should know.
And read it again.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Others should know what you, the first writer in an age, have been through since in the short time since Saphira's egg was sent to you. Like, you should know. We should know this. This should be preserved sincerely, not as just flattery.
Yes.
And so we see what Saphira made. And
it's like a sculpture.
She made a sculpture, and when she breathes fire into it, it like the fire goes all around it. And it's really cool. It sounds really cool.
It's interesting because it mentions intricate curves. Like, it says that a lot. It says there's these like really interesting serrated tongues of rock twisted in a convoluted patterns that the eye had difficult following. And Eragon's like, how'd you make this? And she goes, by licking molten rock. Yeah. And I'm like, so that would make sense.
Redone it until it started to melt, and then molded it with her tongue. Which is like crazy, but that's so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glader made a carving of what Elsmira looks like from above,
which is great.
Ormus did this is the scroll he's been working on that we've seen him working on for so long. It's a copy of the Lay of Vistari the Mariner.
Yep.
And then there's like illustrations. And that sounds really beautiful.
Yeah, it's breathtaking artistry, detail, and skill. Very good.
Getting to the end, and Queen Islanzari makes a speech talking about how like this is a momentous occasion.
Yep.
And the last time we celebrated it, it was like things weren't looking so great, and now we have Eragon and Saphira here with us.
Yep.
And so they're all sitting down, and Ormus tells them to watch you carefully, for this is of great importance to your heritage as writers.
Yep.
And these two elf maidens roll up. They are called the caretakers, Indua and Nea.
Mm-hmm.
And then they disrobe, and their bodies are completely tattooed with a dragon.
Yep.
And
like, this is
a way where it's like it's one single dragon that spans over both of their bodies.
Yeah, and this scene has stuck in my head, vividly since I first read it, because it starts on the left ankle of Iduna or whatever her name is, and then it comes and it ends with the dragon's head on Nea's chest, which is fascinating. It just like from foot to shoulder.
Yep. And each scale is inked with a different color. The vibrant hues gave the tattoo the appearance of a rainbow. I should have waited to talk to about my tattoo here.
There you go.
It.
It's all good.
And so then they start to dance, and the musicians start to play, and the way they dance makes the dragon look as if it is like flying across their skin.
Yes.
It's like I have no idea how one would do this in real life. Yep. Without elf magic.
Yeah, and also maybe elf speed, because they're going so fast. It looks like one of those images.
Yeah, that's also true. Saphira and Gladier start to hum in tune with the music. Eragon doesn't know the words, but he's mouthing them along. It's just becoming very like
engrossed.
Yes, engrossed. It's like for us, the readers, becoming very like ethereal, very weird, but like in an intentional way.
Yeah.
And then the dragon, then a flare of light ran down the length of the dragon tattoo from head to tail, and the dragon stirred. At first, Eragon thought his eyes had deceived him until the creature blinked, raised his wings, and clenched his talons. A burst of flame erupted from the dragon's maw, and he lunged forward and pulled himself free of the elf's skin, climbing into the air where he hovered, flapping his wings. The tip of his tail remained connected to the twins below like a glowing umbilical cord. The giant beast strained towards the black moon and loosened an untamed roar of ages past, then turned and surveyed the assembled elves. So that's actually happening, right?
Yeah, this is actually happening.
Okay, I could not... I was like, is this actually happening?
This is actually happening.
This just something Eragon is seeing because of what's about to happen to Eragon?
Yeah, no, I think it's actually happening. I do remember reading this for the first time and having to read this, like, page. If you put this up here, it'd probably be about a page.
Yeah.
Having to read this several times to understand what was happening, because as a kid, I was confused about whether or not Eragon was actually seeing this, or if it was everyone was seeing it.
Yes.
Or like what was actually
happening here. No one else seems to react.
No one really reacts. But it's even Eragon doesn't really react to it. But I think it is in fact happening. This is because this is
part of the celebration.
Yeah, because I think a part of it is above the specter of their race looped down to the elves, brushing them with the insubstantial wing, and I think that too is like, okay, people are seeing this. Like I don't know. That for me, that was like, okay, other people are seeing this as well, but I'm not sure. It's interesting.
I don't know. So the dragon stops before Eragon. He rises his right hand with the Gedwe Ignacia.
Yep.
In his mind echoed a voice of fire. Our gift, so you may do what you must. The dragon bent his neck and, with his snout, touched the heart of Eragon's Gedwe Ignacia. A spark jumped between them, and Eragon went rigid as incandescent heat poured through his body, consuming his insides. His vision flashed red and black, and the scar on his back burned as if branded. Fleeing to safety, he fell deep within himself, with the darkness grasped him, and he had not the strength to resist it. Last he heard the voice of fire say, "Our gift to you." That's the end of the chapter.
That's the end of that chapter.
Crazy. Yeah, it's like... So again, it's
fascinating.
What was into the chapter? Fascinating, cool, fucking elf party.
Cool elf party. Really cool dragon.
Doing arts and crafts. Everyone's having a great. Oh, we didn't even talk about the food. The food that looks like it was made with both like culinary skill and probably a little bit of magic to make it look extra cool.
Yep, like, absolutely.
And this, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Okay, so we the dragon coming off their bodies, because it is okay. It's still attached to
them.
The elves. It's not it's not an entity of its own. They are the caretakers. They are probably the caretakers of the memory of the pact of the dragons and the elves.
You know what I think?
What?
I think when I saw this, it makes me think that they are the caretakers of the original dragon spirit, maybe. But you're not supposed to have the spirit of another spirit, like a soul. But I'm just like, I don't know. Like it's interesting.
Also, that dragon was white.
Was it white?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was just like,
I think she even says it here.
The original dragon,
the queen, the first Eragon, and the white dragon who represented his ways.
There we go.
Whose name cannot be uttered in this or any language.
That's fair. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Sharp tooth, long fang, broken tooth.
Yep.
7 and 70, 20.
Because I also and maybe then all the different scales that were supposed to represent all dragons.
I think that's what it is. I think it's like too. I think it is like the.
I like what you said. The memory of.
Yeah, like the magic of, because the pact still exists, even though there are only like 3 living dragons in the world and 2 unhatched eggs.
Yes.
The pact of the dragons and the elves and the humans for the riders still exists.
Mm-hmm.
The magic of it still exists. And if these 2 characters are being referred to as caretakers, like I think they're caretakers of the memory of the dragons, the memory of this moment.
Yeah.
I think, and it's the rainbow. I think
I
exactly
like
you said,
too.
like the rainbow of the scale, it doesn't represent just one dragon. It's
all
all
of
dragons.
them.
Yep. And they say, our gift to you.
Yeah, because if it starts with the ankle and goes up across one body and onto another body, and every scale is a different color, absolutely.
Yes, and it's also 2, not just 1.
Yes.
And they probably represent the original pact of just the 2 races, the elves and the dragons.
Yes.
So that's why it's 2.
I think I like that. That's a good point.
This part probably happens every year.
Yep.
This part with Eragon doesn't, though.
No.
And I think the other thing that is confusing, I'm trying to figure out what this dragon is because they use like the singular plural pronoun of his.
Yeah.
But when the dragon speaks to Eragon, they say our gift and our gift to you.
Yeah.
So it's almost as a collective.
Yes.
This entity is representing.
Yep. And then this chapter.
And then in a Starry Glade.
I just wonder, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. Just apologies in advance. But also sorry, not sorry at the same time.
Sorry.
Y'all knew what you were getting into. Or at least people who read this, people who knew this and like just based on what we have said.
Based on things we have remarked on, have absolutely known this was coming. So he wakes up, he's all alone. He's back at his house, or the place that he and Saphira have been staying. So someone clearly transported him there. But the party, like the celebration, is still going on. He can hear it outside. He reached out to Saphira. She's still with Islanzari at the Manoa tree.
Yep. How are you?
I feel good. Better than I have in a long time. How long have I?
Only an hour. I would have stayed with you, but they needed Oramus, Glader, and me to complete the ceremony. You should have seen the elves' reaction when you fainted. Nothing like this has occurred before.
Did you cause this, Saphira?
It was not my work alone, nor Glader's. The memories of our race. And then that gives us our answer.
Oh, dang, I guess we could have just, that
gives us our answer.
I was making eggs.
Yeah, right.
I was making breakfast at the time.
Yeah. The memories of our race, which were given form and substance by the elves' magic, also answers that question as well. Anointed you with what skill we dragons possess, for you are our best hope to avoid extinction.
I don't understand.
Look in a mirror, then rest and recover, and I shall rejoin you at dawn.
Man, there are some listeners that were probably that previous conversation we had about like what was the deal with the dragon tissue. We're probably absolutely
just read the next chapter. Just go to the first page of the next chapter.
You said you were doing both. You're supposed to why? And it's like, I'm sorry, y'all. I forgot.
Yeah, I did too.
I was
what this chapter is overshadowed that little bit.
But great, I'm glad it was explained.
But yes, I'm very glad it was explained very succinctly.
Very cool.
Excellent.
I'm glad it was explained after the fact. We didn't need to know about it beforehand. It was way more impactful. I loved it.
Yes.
I need to take a little sip of tea before I read this next part.
Yeah.
This week we are drinking a vanilla bourbon tea. It's not bourbon, it's just but it's a vanilla tea.
It's very tasty.
Very lovely.
Very
it's
good.
Caffeine free, just like a very rich tea. I thought it was necessary for this episode. Let me
calming. We gotta get some chamomile up in here.
Get some chamomile up in here. Okay, so Eragon gets up. He goes to look in a mirror. Eragon froze with surprise. It was as if the numerous physical changes that, over time, alter the appearance of a human rider, and which Eragon had already begun to experience since bonding with Saphira, had come completely while he was unconscious. His face was now smooth and angled as an elf's, with ears tapered like theirs and eyes slanted like theirs, and his skin was pale as alabaster and seemed to emit a faint glow, as if with a sheen of magic. It looked like a princeling. Eragon had never before applied the term to a man, least of all himself, but the only word that could describe him now was beautiful. Yet he was not entirely an elf. His jaw was stronger, his brow thicker, his face broader. He was fairer than any human and more rugged than any elf. And if that's not enough, with trembling fingers, Eragon reached around the nape of his neck in search of his scar. He felt nothing. Eragon tore off his tunic and twisted in front of the mirror to examine his back. It was smooth as it had been before the Battle of Farthendor. Tears sprang to his eyes as Eragon slid his hand over the place where Durza had maimed him. He knew that his back would never trouble him again. And that's not the only, literally no scars, no blemish, no
blemish. He describes himself as
smooth.
Oh, what is it?
Unmarked as a newborn babe.
There we go.
My eyes happen to literally fall.
I was gonna say, I'm like, that's literally the line I was looking for. So yes, thank you. Yep. Which is, in a way, he is reborn. So like that makes sense. That metaphor, I think it's metaphor.
Yeah.
Him describing himself as a newborn babe because he is entering a new chapter in his life. He has been born anew, kind of thing. But it fucking sucks.
It's a lot about because it's like the scar from his wrist where he'd cut himself sharpening Garo's scythe. That's gone. The scars on his thighs from his first flight with Saphira. That's
also gone.
For a moment, he missed them as a record of his life, but regret was short-lived as he realized that the damage from every injury he had ever suffered, no matter how small, had been repaired. I have become what I am meant to be. Oh,
icky.
Damn. It's this is a thing we talked about a while ago of like clearly not the broader implications of this were clearly not intentional, nor what Christopher Paolini had in mind.
It's not what Christopher Paolini was going for.
But that doesn't mean it's not still there.
Yep.
Oh. He gets dressed in his nicest clothes.
Totally threaded
up. And then
up.
literally he goes out to go back to the Minoa tree. None of the elves don't recognize him.
Yeah. They accept him as one of his own.
They literally call him to come join them because he is so much an elf. Like he says, well, I'm not fully elf, but I'm not human. It's like, you're elf enough that the other elves aren't clocking you as not an elf.
As Eragon. They don't recognize you as Eragon anymore.
As Eragon Shadeslayer. They think you're just another elf. Okay, and we're going to pause there, and we're going to talk about that, and then we'll talk about the rest of the chapter. But I think we just need to unpack all of that.
Yep.
First, obviously,
the
elf thing.
Yeah, the elf thing.
Yes, we all knew this was coming. We have read it before. I remember this.
I've read it before.
It's been like a quiet joke of us talking about every time. Wouldn't it have been way more cool if they turned into dragons? In part as a response to this, to seeing it manifest and just being like, I must have thought it was cool when I first read this.
That was, and I think like, I think I clocked it as being like really cool and being like, oh yay.
Yeah, we were told it was going to happen, and now we get to see it. It's not going to take, like, we thought it would take years. We'd never see that happen in the books, but here it is, and isn't it cool? And we've sped run to this magical, like, transformation. This Eragon's magical girl transformation.
Magical girl transformation,
but
exactly.
It's permanence. Yep. And, but we've talked so much about, like, it's kind of sucks that humans are expected to give up their identities as part of this, and that is never interrogated. And Eragon has been excited about it. He wants this. He thinks, like, when he has that line, like, I've become what I've meant to be.
Yeah.
And Eragon has spent so much time loving being in Elsmira and wanting this life of an elf. Like, this suits Eragon, but like, has it suited every other human? Like, there is no interrogation into this, your physical body changing to be like another race that is held higher in acclaim than everyone else.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yes.
It sucks that it says that Eragon as a hero, as a human, as he was not good enough to be a hero.
Yes, it wasn't good enough.
He needed to change into something literally not human in order to be able to do this thing.
Yep.
And that's not ideal.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the ableism of it.
Yes.
An area where we cannot speak from our personal voices or experiences because you and I are both able-bodied individuals who have never experienced a situation where, like, and it's not even that, like, my shoulder's kind of fucked up from a repetitive stress injury and that flares up sometime, but I compare that. That's why when you asked several books ago when we talked about characters who have like physical disabilities, I didn't list Roran among them because his shoulder wound I identified as my own thing. Like not as bad, of course. I didn't get eaten. I didn't get bit by a Razak. I just kept throwing toys for my cat too much.
Where it's like we didn't touch on that, but he does mention that his injury, his arms back to like his full use, he just can't lift it at certain angles anymore.
And that's very much where my shoulder is at. Like, I can use it, I can climb, I can carry, just sometimes if I move it or hold it at a certain angle, I'm like, ow, it
twinges
hurts. And then I just gotta stretch it. So like that's why I didn't hold it in the same sphere that I was holding the other characters, because and again and someone else might identify it differently. Right? So but the literal Eragon literally was experiencing such pain that it was inhibiting his ability to live and maneuver through the world as he wants to do so. Like, it literally was making him feel as if he would not be able to achieve this important goal that everyone was expecting him to do, kill Galbatorix. And now that has been magically erased. Don't worry about it anymore. Like this, and that's the other thing. It's not like it was years of work and surgery and physical therapy and like mobility aids that are allowing Eragon to continue to move forward in the world as he wants to navigate it, right? It was just, we spent 2/3 of this book equating physical disability and chronic pain with uselessness, essentially, many times. And then it is magically snapped away, just really to reiterate that that was uselessness. Eragon you were
incapable.
There is no way someone who is experiencing what you are experiencing could go forth and do great things. That is what it is saying. And setting aside, like, well, of course, because it's not realistic. Like, we saw Eragon couldn't even hold his own. That's choices Paolini made to write that. Right? That is the choice. Like, it doesn't, I'm not interested in having a conversation about whether or not it's realistic that Eragon, with his, like, physical, like, chronic illness and physical pain, if he would have been able to do, if he would have been able to save everyone, like, with that. Because that is, clearly the book has been written in such a way to tell us that no, he couldn't have. But those are choices that Christopher Paolini made as an author. That is supposed to tell us that it's so good that
this happened.
That it has completely been erased. And I'm also not saying that I'm not going to speak for any individual this is their lived experience, that this kind of outcome would shape their life in one way or the other. I'm not saying a real world equivalency. I do want to open the floor to listeners who this is an element of their lived experience. Please feel free to reach out to us. And if you are comfortable doing so, and if you would like to do so, like, privately and not in, like, a public space, like, you can message us directly on Instagram, or you can send us an email. Email is in the show notes. If you are comfortable sharing your thoughts on this, like, I was attempting to find other, like, fantasy book folks who've read Eragon who also speak on, like, their lived experience living with a physical disability. And I did find someone, but they haven't been active in, like, 8 years. So like, well, that's unfortunate. I hope you're doing well. This is clearly not a thing you do anymore. So I definitely want to acknowledge that this is largely, like, I don't want us to speak out of turn or speak over individuals, but just, like, as readers, I think we both agree this has aged quite poorly.
As a reminder, if you do reach out to us, but you don't want us to read anything on our podcast, just, like, put that in there. Be like, hey, because like, and if anyone messages us without saying please don't share this, we will read it on the podcast. But if you don't want us to read it, let us know. I'm sharing this with you, but I don't want you to read this out loud. Just remember, just as a reminder for that. No. I was going to say, like, I don't know. There's not much really to add to what you said because I think you pretty much nailed it. Like, also don't want to, like, speak out of turn or anything like that. It's like what you said. What gets me the most is that it's like you're useless if you have this. And now that it's just been literally erased, it's been Thanos'd out of existence, that, oh, now you can do it. That was holding you back. You couldn't achieve anything. You couldn't do anything. Yeah. It was literally making you miserable. You were like, he even talks like when he's going to Arya in like one of the last chapter, when he's going to her apartment, he talks about he shuffled, he scuffled. Yeah. Like he can't do these things because of this, but instead of like going to therapy, finding something that can help him through this or like something to do that, it's just completely erased. And also what we kind of touched on when Oramus is like, oh, erasing that scar would be erasing that experience from you. Yeah. And it did. It happened. All of his experiences are just gone now. And it's, again, it kind of goes back, like, I understand what Paolini was trying to get to with like being reborn as a person, and so he's completely bare, like no scars is what I mean. Yeah. And so it's like I'm like, that makes sense, but it's just an icky feeling. It's just that like you're useless if you have this. Yeah. And it's like that's not true.
Yeah. And I don't think, like, on one hand, like there could be response to our critique of, yes, but that's a realistic depiction on like the kind of like pain Eragon was in. Yeah. And we are not attempting to criticize the depiction of the pain and the actual potential lived experience that someone who has to go through what Eragon was going through is responding to the world. Our, I think, criticism is born of that the narrative very intentionally and reoccurringly showed this as a flaw in Eragon. Yes. Like he cannot do this anymore. And whether or not that is a reasonable response, I'm not interested in discussing, because that is what the narrative has told us without being interested in discussing alternatives. Interested in discussing that, yes, it is so much harder for Eragon to do so now, but does he not have support to continue onward? Does it not mean that we are willing to do things differently? Does it not mean that we are going to try, like, it literally made Eragon less valuable in his world. Yeah. And that's what sucks.
That's the bad.
Like, and there was no attempt to show support for Eragon continuing to go forth and live in the world. And that also, we can say, is a realistic representation of our world. Yeah. Our world is not designed with folks who have physical disabilities or chronic pain. Like, our world is very cruelly designed. We have places in the United States right now, and this episode we're recording well in advance before it comes out, so God, I hope this hasn't become even worse, but it probably will, because that's the state of the world. Yeah. That are actively trying to overturn laws that are just basic protections for individuals with, like, various forms of disability. Yeah. Like, that would literally make it almost, if not completely, illegal just for them to exist in a public space. Yikes. And that is the threat we are facing. And so, yes, this book was written 20 years ago. Yep. But the series is continuing to be, like, we're getting another Murtagh book. Disney, a massive corporation, is actively adapting this story. Yes. And even if we were just doing this and no one had touched these books for years, it would still be worth critiquing. Yes. And so I would be interested to see how this plot line of Eragon's physical disability and ultimate transformation into being completely born anew is handled in the adaptation. Like, if this ableist undertone is going to be acknowledged and find ways to, like, address, because I don't foresee this just not happening. Oh yeah. Though I do wish. But yeah, this is why we've been so critical of every time. If you're here listening along and you haven't read the books before and you just from the journey and you wonder, wow, they really hate the elf thing. Wow, they're really, every time there's an opportunity to talk about this, it's like, yeah, because we've been building, we laid with this foreshadowing is a literary device. Yes. But we laid the framework so we can, like, hit this hard because I want to be very clear. I don't like this.
No, don't
I
like it.
I don't like how this was handled.
Don't like it.
I think maybe there's a version of this where, because it's like, oh, this Eragon is the only hope for saving the dragons from extinction. And yeah, having your back cause you to have physical pain is making that harder. There's a way for the dragons to offer this like gift of transformation and rebirth without it suggesting that otherwise Eragon would have guaranteed to fail.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem of it. It suggests that because we have it with Gladier and we have it with Ormus too.
Yep.
And so that's what's up. And here's the bad news, King. Chapter doesn't get better.
No, it doesn't. It's like if you think that's it, no, because Eragon is like, I'm a new person now. I am filled with this unbridled confidence. I'm gonna go fuck up my relationship with Arya again.
See, I forgot this happened.
Oh, I remembered it vividly.
I didn't.
Because he's got like to be super crude. He's got the biggest balls on him now, and he just I
wonder. Okay. If we're gonna be nice to Eragon just a little bit,
a little bit,
it is entirely possible that when the dragons transformed him into this, it also took away the magical protections he put on himself.
I mean,
to
that's
not
true.
Be completely swept up, and what is happening is he's being completely swept up.
Yeah, it does say that he gets completely engulfed with the magics and everything that's going on right now. So yes,
he was good for 3 days. He was hanging out with Arya for 3 days.
Yep.
So
and did the thing exactly he promised not to do. Immediately. He goes. God, he gets her the transformation. He goes to the glade. He sees Arya walks off. And tells
fucking, like, what are you doing?
He's like, where go you, little one? And he fucking says, I walk between the candle and the dark. You fucking broody ass 16-year-old asshole.
Hey, I'm glad they haven't changed your fucking mind, Eragon. You're the same goddamn guy I knew 3 pages ago.
Yes. I just, maybe it's because I'm 35. I'm just cringing so hard. It's fine. It's not. It's fine.
No. Here's where I'm at, though. I'm gonna be extra harsh on Eragon now because you promised you weren't gonna fucking do this.
You promised.
I will forgive you for all these other times. You're just a kid. You didn't really see the full scope of like what's up. You like we talked about a few chapters ago. Like he didn't really understand the implication of like him as a writer, Arya as a princess and ambassador, and like all these things because he's a farm boy. Had never had to really think about those like high level intricacies of interpersonal relationships.
Yep.
So we'll forgive him for being a young man caught up in his like infatuation, right? Like he says, Ormus even says, this happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Like this Saphira pulled the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it's the affection he has for Arya and how he stumbled over it in the past. Like I will forgive him all that. Yep. I will not forgive him this. I will not forgive him this one for pulling this again after he agreed that it isn't a thing he should do. After he promised her he wouldn't do it again.
Yep.
But now, as you said, he's got this fucking big swinging dick, and he thinks that things have fucking changed.
Yep. He even says, like, in this, he ignored caution and said what he says. I can read that. In that secret place, Eragon felt suddenly close to Arya, and all his passion for her sprang to the fore of his mind. He was so intoxicated with the strength and vitality coursing through his veins, as well as the untamed magic that filled the forest. He ignored caution and said, how tall the trees, how bright the stars, and how beautiful you are, O Arya Svithkona. Under normal circumstances, he would have considered his deed the height of folly, but in that fey madcap night, it seemed perfectly sane. She stiffened.
Don't get to blame the fairy magic.
Yeah.
I actually am not going to let him blame.
No.
Even if the wards that he put on himself, like, even if we, like, suppose that the reason he's being fully swept up is because of the fairy magic is fucking stop it.
Yep.
No, and it's like, don't get a pass.
And she warns him. She goes, Eragon. And it literally verbatim in this text, he ignored her warning. Arya, I'll do anything to win your hand. I would follow you to the ends of the earth. I would build a palace for you with nothing but my bare hands. I would...
Will you stop pursuing me? Can you promise me that? Eragon, this cannot be. You are young and I am old, and that shall never change.
Do you feel nothing for me?
My feelings for you are those of a friend and nothing more. I am grateful for you for rescuing me from Gilead, and I find your company pleasant. That is all. Relinquish this quest of yours. It will only bring you heartache, and find someone else your own age to spend the long years with.
How can you be so cruel?
Oh my God.
After she gave him the nicest rejection in the world, by the way.
I am not cruel but kind. You and I are not meant for each other. And then this is what he says next is absolutely unhinged.
Yeah. You could give me your memories, and then I would have the same amount of experience and knowledge as you.
It would be an abomination. Hear me well, Eragon. This cannot, nor shall ever be. And until you master yourself, our friendship must cease to exist, for your emotions do nothing but distract us from our duty. Goodbye, Eragon Shadeslayer. She fucking walks away.
She walks away.
As she should.
As she should. He really gives off, what is the very stereotypical, what's the hat? The fedora.
Oh, he's my lady.
He's just like a fedora alpha, like not only does he ignore, does not take no for an answer, he emotionally manipulates her. How can you be so cruel?
Yeah.
Just it's the worst.
She doesn't like you.
She doesn't like you. She's been trying to be nice.
Yeah.
You are 15, 16 in this whole situation. And she's been trying to be nice, and now you're forcing her hand, and she has to be like, dude, no.
Yeah.
Dude, stop.
Like,
and you don't even take that as an answer.
Yeah,
you don't even take her no as an answer.
We're friends.
Yes.
I enjoy your company. I appreciate you, but you need to stop, my guy. This isn't going to go anywhere.
It's
going to
just
be so cruel.
It's going to lead to,
what
and
is
then
she
goes
to say.
Yeah, she says, find someone your own age to spend the long years with. And I feel like that is very generous, like just being like, you should find someone that you can relate to more. You should find someone that you can live together with.
Unless, like, she's not saying you're unlovable and don't deserve this.
She's not like,
she's
not being like, you're a dick and you're being an asshole and go fuck yourself. She's being kind.
Yeah.
She's being super kind here.
It's like, how can you be so cruel? It's like, she doesn't like you, my guy.
She doesn't like you.
Like, she's not into you that way. Like, why? What is she supposed to say if she doesn't return this affection that she's told you many times she fucking doesn't?
Yeah.
And he has a breakdown, which, like, fair, that's rough.
Yeah,
it's height of the moment. Yeah. And the absolute, like, heart crushed in his chest. Like,
because it's like, this like, before she's been like soft rejections, this is a hard reject. She's like, we can't
we're not even friends anymore.
We can't even be friends because of this. Like, we can't do this anymore. And then, I think I mentioned this right before we started recording, where it was like, I think it is a good parallel to what Saphira just experienced, because Saphira was just rejected with Glader, and now he is now rejected. And so, but like Eragon came to Saphira, Saphira comes to him, and is able to support and console him in this moment.
Oh, little one, why did you have to inflict this upon yourself? You knew what would happen if you tried to woo Arya again.
I couldn't stop myself.
It's like, yeah, it sounds like you couldn't.
Yeah,
know,
literally,
man. Like,
honestly,
whatever.
okay, yeah, I could.
Listen, I'm deeply disappointed in you. But
I'm deeply disappointed, Eragon. Deeply disappointed.
You know, Saphira, Arya's gonna fucking head out to the Varden tomorrow morning.
Yeah, she's like, now.
She's out of here.
She's gone.
She's gone. She's packing,
super gone.
She's leaving. She's done. She's gotta go back
like,
to work.
Nope.
Ugh, I'm so annoyed. I forgot that happened.
Yep, because for me it was, as I am an adult reading it, frustrating that he was like, I won't do this ever again. I promise I won't do it. Instantly breaks it.
It's been like a couple weeks.
Yeah, and
what
just like, nope, I'm gonna immediately go back on what I said. And it's like, again, not thinking about friendship, not thinking about like what doing this will
not
cost
thinking about
you.
What Arya
not
wants.
Thinking about what Arya wants or what Arya has said to you prior to this point.
Yep.
And then when she continues to say what she is saying, you being like, nope, your words don't matter.
What do you think? He's like, I'll do anything to woo you. He's like, but I don't like you.
But I don't like you like that. I don't want you to woo me. And he's like, but why are you being so mean to me? I'm not being mean to you.
16. And this is the part where you have to remember, it doesn't matter if he looks like an elf now. Doesn't matter if he's got all he's still Eragon.
Yep.
And you know what? I guess we can be thankful for that.
Yes.
Because it's important to know that despite all of that, it's still the same guy.
It's still Eragon.
We're still going to be
still
hanging out with
16-year-old
He hasn't
Eragon.
changed
Yes.
in his heart.
Yes.
And that's good.
Yes.
Like, okay, and it's not, again, please listeners, don't think us cruel or heartless.
Yeah.
We're not dismissive of, I mean, it's annoying, but like, because we're 30 and like he's 16. But we all remember having the crushes.
Oh, absolutely.
Having the infatuation.
The infatuation and being absolutely devastated.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's that. It's just like, I'm not 16 anymore, so why do I have to be here for this? But also, just specifically how many times Arya has said no.
Yeah.
And express like her comfort, and that doesn't matter to Eragon.
Yep.
Like, Eragon, you do not truly love her, because if you did, you would care about how she feels.
Yep.
You're just infatuated.
You're just
with
infatuated.
Her. And you're 16. You haven't learned how to love that way yet.
And
that's
just like
fine.
You don't know the concept of boundaries in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know. He does, because when he goes to Saphira and she's like, stay away from me.
That's true.
He knows how to respect a boundary.
No, that's true. I guess her Arya's boundaries specifically.
Because what he wants, he thinks is more important than what Arya wants.
Yeah.
And again, it's because he's 16 and he hasn't learned that the way you love someone is the way they want to be loved.
Yes.
And also, this is a crush.
Yeah.
Except it's not.
Except it's not.
Here's the other
I think infatuation
part.
Is the thing that where it kind of boils down to.
So, but yeah, full disclosure, I completely forgot he confesses to Arya again in this moment. So when it happened, I was like, oh no, oh god, no, oh no. Like every other time I remember it happening and I'm prepared, but it got me like so, I'm sitting there eating my eggs, drinking my breakfast tea, and like here it is. And I'm like, oh no.
You're like, oh god, oh
I'm
no.
Not prepared.
Not again. Not again. Not again.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It's
rough. And I don't think we have anything else to say. I don't. Do you?
Yeah, not necessarily. It's I kind of want to talk about like Paulini's choice with like the first part is like I think unintentional, but like this is the message you're giving.
Yes.
But with this is I do think it's an interesting choice because I think it makes sense in the book. Because it's Eragon is filled with this magic and confidence, and the Fey magic is all around him, and it is overtaking him. And I think it makes sense. And I also think there is an underlying of, look, I'm like you now.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
And so he's like, all you have to do is share your memories with me. I look like an elf. That was the problem, right?
Yeah.
And I think like as a 16-year-old, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Where your brain is thinking.
Absolutely.
And because it's like, oh, now we can be together. Now we can be together. I'm a writer. I can live as long as you can.
Yeah.
The only thing that was missing was I was too human. Everyone kept saying I was too human. And if you just share your memories with me, my youth won't have anything to do with it now. And so I do think it makes sense in the context of the book of why Eragon did this.
Yeah. Also, Eragon asking her to share his memories with him is such like a naive thing to do.
Yes, it really is.
That would be the same.
And it kind of goes, and also I like this. I like the progression too, because it shows when Eragon first speaks, oh, the trees are he's all so dramatic. And then he's like, and you're so beautiful. He's filled with confidence. But as she is rejecting him, he gets desperate.
Yeah.
And he's like, but no, but no, but no. And she's like, but yes, but yes, but yes. And it gets to the point where like Arya can stand there and argue with him till the end of Kingdom Come or walk away.
Which she
does. She walks away because Eragon in this moment is not taking no for an answer.
No.
And so, but yeah, no, I think Paulini did a good job with one, keeping the character, because that is Eragon in character, and two, it does make sense regarding of what is happening in this moment in the story that he would do this again.
Yes. It makes me immensely dislike Eragon.
Yeah.
That he chooses to do this again to Arya. But like, unlike the first half of the chapter where we have a lot of criticism of like the choices and we're like, we would prefer this wasn't here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd prefer it wasn't here, but only because of secondhand embarrassment. Like,
yes,
I get what it's doing for the story.
Ick. It gives the ick for sure.
Okay. So, writing takeaway, beta readers who have different lived experience than you do are deeply important.
Yes.
Oh, those would actually be called sensitivity readers.
Yeah.
Sensitivity readers are really important because they can assist in not accidentally writing or reinforcing harmful ideas and concepts.
Yep.
There's my writing tip.
And it's also because it's like it can help you also if you're accidentally doing wide as default or anything like
yes.
like all those bases.
Yep.
That's why beta readers are so important.
Well, beta readers are the ones that will help you. They can be.
Yeah.
Like beta readers are the ones that'll help you like do I misspoke. Sensitivity readers are folks who are specifically their goal in reading a text is to identify those areas where it may not be where you might be accidentally being ableist or racist or more like in the things by falling into unseen internal like biases. So I don't know, but again, if anybody if this is your lived experience and you would like to share, be it just one-on-one to share your thoughts with us on the podcast, or if you do wish to speak and like have your thoughts shared on the podcast, like always open, even if you're listening to this and we are well into inheritance. Like, absolutely, always open. Please feel free to reach out.
Yep.
Instead of a quest, I think maybe we have a fun, special little treat for listeners.
Okay.
Hey, y'all. We hate this elf transformation thing.
Oh, yes.
So much. We wish it was dragons. We wish that elves and human riders alike instead came to look more like dragons. That would make more sense. It would actually be in line with the lore in the previous sections that talked about how the dragon's magic deeply shaped the elves.
The one that,
Why are the elves shaping humans now? Like, nah, everyone should look more like a dragon. So much so that we have commissioned an artist, Coda, or with Coda on Instagram, to draw Eragon, but instead of looking like an elf, what if he took the shape, like, physicality of his dragon Saphira instead?
Yep.
And we will be posting that today, the day you're listening to this episode. That art has already gone up.
Oh, nice.
And it's super kick-ass.
Yep.
We've commissioned Coda because he is the artist who made the Dragon's Keep art.
Yes.
And also the podcaster illustrations that we have in the Meet the Co-Hosts. If you ever checked out our stories on Instagram, the illustrations of ours is also a thing that Coda did.
Yep.
They are an incredible artist. They've done a ton of cool work for my friend Fran McMahon for their various books.
Yeah.
So we were super excited to have that as an idea.
Yep.
I think if you're on the Dragon's Keep as a free member who listened to the outtakes, we've talked about doing this already, so you knew this was coming.
Yep.
But it is I don't know. Listen, it made us so mad that we spent money to commission our like AU fan art.
Yep.
And I don't think we can say any more on the topic than that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's let some of our listeners say something on the topic.
Yes.
From the Dragon Mage, I think my favorite literary relationship is actually the bond between dragon and writer in this series. It's not that a best friend, parent, sibling, child, mentor, or romantic partner, but a little bit of all, and I think it's very special. Also, I think you're doing a really good job not letting any spoilers slip. Nice work.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's what the editing process is for.
If you want to hear spoilers, go over to the Dragon's Keep.
Yes.
Where we kind of upload that crap.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say crap. Where we upload that kind of stuff.
Yes. We do outtakes available on Patreon. You don't have to be a paid member. There is an option just support as a free member.
Yep.
And that's nice. And we give the outtakes. It's often a lot of like the cat shenanigans or us talking about silly things.
Oh yeah.
But when we sometimes we're having a conversation and we will just continue talking us, and that'll get into a spoiler part.
Yep.
Hey, this episode has quite a bit of it too.
Yeah, it
so
does.
If you want that, patreon.com/EABA. You can listen in on that. Another comment from Curtis. My favorite non-curse is tabernacle. But you have to say it in the most outrageous French accent for it to really land.
There's no way. I can't do a French accent.
Let me see. Mon chéri, tabernacle. Something like that? I don't know.
The only accent I can do is Russian. It always defaults to Russian anyway.
Yeah. I picked it up from a Quebecois coworker. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. Not coworker, the other word, obviously.
Yep.
Apparently, it's pretty offensive there. But here, no one cares. So you can use it around children and old people with impunity.
There you go.
It feels like the C word in the UK or like Australia. It's like, it's a swear word, but it's not like deeply offensive than it would be like in the US. My friend from the UK was like, oh, I probably shouldn't say the C word when I'm here. And I'm like, yeah, but you have a British accent, so I think it's fine.
I think it's fine.
I think it's probably okay. Like,
It'll be all right. No worries.
And then Kiki, my favorite curse word is Korean shibal, which is essentially fuck, but it sounds much cooler and yay Korean. I'm trying to learn.
Oh, nice.
I've also been using storms. from the Stormlight Archives as my censored swear wars. Also, please, more anti-AI rants. Please, please, please. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
More than happy.
Fuck AI.
I feel one coming up in the future, but we'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
And then one more from Sabine. I feel like the Naswada chapters really define the Eragon books for me.
Ooh.
They loop in these ideas that begun in other chapters of Eragon's responsibility and power, Galby's corruption, political machinations, Rorin and the laymen of the Empire just trying to survive, all coming together in these 2 chapters into this really strong storyline to kick off the real fields of test for all the themes of the rest of the books. It's all so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Agreed.
It's
that so
is, yeah,
good.
That's exactly what it is. Thank you for putting it into words.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay. Well, that's going to be it for this episode. I'm done. I'm ready to be done.
We're good.
Take a break. Okay.
Yep.
Again, check it out if you want to see the fan art we commissioned for this concept. Check us out. It's going to be on our Instagram, Eragon Pod. And then you should also give Coda a follow because they're great. We'll put a link to both those in the show notes.
Yes.
Thank you all again so much for joining us. I know this one, we definitely got a little hot on the collar.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed that. If not, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry, pretty much.
But until next time, she's Lucy Hart.
And she's Darien Smartt.
And this is Eragon.
And back again.